Hi everybody, Cohh here with a very early quick thoughts video on Dragon Age Veilguard. So I've played this game now for about 8 hours. The first 2 hours of the stream were sponsored, and I now have a pretty good idea about my initial feelings of this game. Now I do need to say that I know this game is long, and I don't know how I'm going to feel at the end of it, so we will most likely make another thoughts video when I am done. But I'm getting the question all the time, what do I think of this game? I'm going to make a quick video giving you my thoughts. Dragon Age Veilguard is fine. It's pretty. It runs well. The combat is engaging. The overall story arc at this point, as a Dragon Age fan, I am really enjoying. The sound design is pretty good. And if you take it exactly for what it is fine. Now, when I say fine, that means some parts of it are good or even above good, above average, in some cases excellent. Like, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful game. And it actually runs really well. The voice acting also. The voice acting is pretty great. In most cases, like most characters, I love hearing them. In fact, most characters, the delivery is so good that sometimes it can trump the part that I don't like, which I'm about to talk about. But the big thing about this game that is, I don't want to say grating, but it's wearing on me. And the big thing about this game that's wearing on me a little bit is the quality of the writing. And when I say quality of the writing, I don't mean the overall story, but I mean the dialogue between the characters. It's incredibly unnatural, it's very forced, and it's very basic. And where in previous games, I would look forward to characters talking to each other or telling me bits about the world, I kind of dread when it happens in this game because it feels so homogenized, basic, and frankly, like I'm being talked to like a child. They're constantly just, they're not adding to the scenes when they talk. They're making sure you know what's going on. They're making sure you understand it. It's basic dialogue designed to deliver information, not to deliver an immersive narrative experience. And I think that's one of the biggest problems with this game. The dialogue in this game is not immersive dialogue. It is vehicular dialogue. And that is the term that I would use for Dragon Age Veilguard. It is not Baldur's Gate 3. It is not Cyberpunk. It is not writing to make you feel like you're in the world. It is writing to project you forward or make sure you know what you need to continue on. It feels like tutorial writing. It feels like it's not there to add. It's there to confirm that you know what's going on. And that works in some games. That's okay in some games. But this is an immersive, large role-playing game. You are playing a role. And granted, you could say it's an action role-playing game, but still, you are a person and you need to be treated as that role. But the dialogue is not treating us as Rook, the leader of the resistance. I'm not being talked to like an adult who's leading people. I'm being talked to like I'm a kid that needs to have his hand held through every area, and that I never get to play that role. So that's where the big thing is with this game. I feel like they've over-gamed it. And by over-gaming it, by making the dialogue so vehicular, they have significantly reduced all the stuff that I feel a lot of us love in these games, which is getting lost in them. We love to get lost in these games. I want to be Rook, but I can't be Rook when I pull up to a dock and I get 3 sentences from a person explaining what a dock is and why there should be boats there and they're not. Like, that's... And there's that kind of stuff all over the place, where it's just like obvious stuff, obvious things looking around. And most importantly, it's devoid of that dialogue that like adds to the region. You know, it's one thing to pull up to an area and have the person say, oh, it's a dock. There should be boats here and it's empty. And it's another thing to pull up and be like, oh, it's this dock. I was here 4 years ago. It was packed with people. I had a shop over there and I remember this flooding with areas and now I can't believe it's this empty. Like, one of those is a character expressing emotion over something they lost. The other is delivering information, like I just looked it up on Wikipedia. So and it's weird. It's weird. So and that happens all the time where I feel like I'm being educated or told. And there's for the record, there's this other scene in the game that I've seen but I haven't encountered yet. And I'm not going to talk about the scene, but what I will say is when I saw that scene, the internet is exploding over the content of the scene. I watched that scene and all I could think of is, screw the content of the scene. I feel like I'm watching a Dare commercial in middle school. Like I felt like I was sitting in the audience at middle school watching a bunch of adults do a performance that was supposed to tell me how to feel about something. Screw whatever it is I'm supposed to feel about. The whole framework of that is just uncomfortable. Like that's not why we play games. That's not forget the message. But it's like that's not it. So anyway, I know this got a little ranty, but it's really hard to take a game like this seriously when we live in a world of Baldur's Gate 3s and Cyberpunks. It's really tough when there's this much of a schism where it's like where some games do it so well and then other games just don't. And I do need to point out at this point, we're talking about one facet of Veilguard. I know you guys are probably going like, oh, Cohh hates Dragon Age Veilguard. This is terrible, blah, blah, blah. But no, it's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this one part of Veilguard is so bad that it kind of drags down the other parts. And that stinks. And the reason I make videos like this is for the very small chance that one day somebody in a decision point sees a video like this and goes, oh, maybe we're better off taking risks instead of homogenizing our product through a broader audience, which is what I feel like is going on in this case. I feel like when we get dialogue like this in games, it's because it's being brought down to such a basic level that everyone will be able to understand it. They don't want to take risks. And we need to make sure devs know we don't like that. We don't play games for safe. We don't play games for homogenized dialogue. That is not why we like games. We like games because they surprise us and they make us think and they give us things we're not expecting and they're interesting because we haven't done them 50 times before. That's why we like these games. The main story in this game is doing that for me, which is why I'm still playing this game. I'm a huge Dragon Age fan. The main story and the stuff happening in it right now at the 8 to 10 hour mark, I'm engaged in. I like it. So like, let's just take that kind of thing and be a little riskier and more interesting with the writing. And this could be a damn decent, like, we could be having a completely different type of video right now. But yeah, that's kind of where we are. That's my thoughts on this. I'm going to continue playing it. I'm still enjoying it. I'm probably going to focus the main story. Like, I feel weird saying that in a DA game, but the companion quests and stuff in these games, like, we may do some to check them, but I don't know. I don't know what all I know for sure is that as of now, I plan on finishing the main story because I do want to see what the main story has to offer. I do love Solus. I love the characters. I want to see what's going to happen to him. But yeah, that's where we are. So anyway, TLDR, thoughts on Dragon Age Veilguard. Some really good parts that are unfortunately obfuscated by some really lackluster parts. The total package, if you can bear with the bad parts, is not a bad game. But if you are playing Dragon Age Veilguard for the immersion, for the immersive dialogue, for the same reasons you super enjoyed Baldur's Gate 3, you can't hate on someone for not liking this game. Keep that in mind. It's totally valid to not like this game. You don't need to shout people down that say that. But it's also not valid to say the game is complete garbage. Because there's parts of this game that are actually pretty damn good. So it's a mixed bag. It's a real mixed bag. Again, there's parts that are really good and there are parts that are just really not. But I'd say the overall picture, it's definitely, for me so far, it's been worth playing. The combat and stuff is fun enough to where it's worth playing. And we'll kind of see if that keeps up all the way to the end. Anyway, that's it. I hope this helps in what little way. I do want to end this video by saying the best decision that you can make on a game like this is your own. Use this video and many others to educate yourself and inform yourself, and then most importantly, watch streams and make your own opinion. Don't let somebody tell you how this game is. You've never played it. You don't know. Don't ever let anyone dictate how you feel about a video game, because frankly, that's not fair to you, and you may miss something that you actually might really like. So don't do that. Anyway, that's it. thank you all for watching. I hope this helped in what little way it might. And I'm going to go back and keep playing. So I'll see you later.